a little bit cold. What are you doing? Drinking a frozen Red Bull. Literally, Red Bull slushy. Yeah, it's a bit cold.
She's a bit nippy.
Yeah, but we got some coal, so I might just stick it in there for a little bit.
You could cook it.
Yeah.
Eric.
Hello.
Yeah, senior, sorry.
How are you?
Good.
I'm very early. This is my early face. I don't think I'm gonna make it.
And where are we heading to? Junior?
I ain't got much words this morning.
No comment?
No comment.
Sam?
The desert.
Yeah, but she's got to say.
Alrighty, good morning guys. It is currently 6:30 in the morning. We're up at roughly about 5 o'clock. We have packed up camp. There's hardly anything here. Take that off, don't need that anymore. Anyway, so we've packed up camp. We've dropped our tyre pressures a little bit further as well because we are going to roll into the desert. So the terrain that we're going to hit is quite soft and sandy, so drop the pressures even further than a few days ago. But what we're about to do, I don't know if you can see it, out there is a line of vehicles to get out. Unfortunately with the bash, they're disallowing people to excuse me, get out early. But what we're going to do is we're going to do a sneaky run just behind here where the sun is coming up. There's another road that isn't manned, so we're just going to make a beeline for that and hopefully make a quick exodus and stop for no one. So hopefully we should roll out here in about 5-10 minutes and then get into the Simpson Desert and then start that crossing.
We made the quick exit out of the bash with some not so happy campers complaining about our crew over Channel 40. Oh well, anywho, we come across the crew's first big dune crossing, which turned out to be a bit of a doozy.
Fucking send it, Dad. Send it.
Well, Dad's made it over. Let's see what Eric can do in his black Amarok.
Morning.
Spewing Eric. Oh well, whacking a reverse, try again. Now we've got TYZ 55. Here we go, he didn't get far.
First attempt he got about halfway up. Just tried the second time, only got a quarter up.
Just make sure that the vlog is on.
So this is our first major challenge for the trip. We've only the first dune, so this is the first dune after the big red dune, which is just there. It's proving a bit more difficult than what we thought. Dad took about 2 to 3 attempts to get up there. Eric took about 4 attempts, and then this is Tyrone's 4th attempt now. So hopefully I can learn from their mistakes, and they've compacted the track for me, and I can get up in one go. But you know, it is what it is, and if you don't get it in the first try, you just reverse and then do it again. Alright, we all made it up and over.
Okay, zebras, let's roll.
Hear that? Zebras, let's roll. I managed to get over in the first go, only because me being the last person, I learnt from all these guys' mistakes. So here we go, on to the next dune of probably about 1100. I'm not gonna lie. I thought these dunes would have been just like little ones, but these they're big. From when you're on the ground level to the top of the dune, you're probably maybe talking 30 to 40 meters in elevation gain. To give you an idea on the scale of these dunes, this is Tyrone heading up a dune now. That gives you an idea on the scale of these dunes that we're crossing, and they're quite difficult because there's a few parts where it's quite bumpy. So let's see how I go heading up this one. Alright, so we've had to do our first detour. We came up to Air Creek, and the water level is pretty high, so we could attempt it, but there's a high risk that we could probably get stuck, so we're just going to take the slight detour of about 27 kilometers north, and then about 1 kilometer
West,
and then a further 27 kilometers south just to get around this creek. So it's just part of the adventure and the journey of getting to ULURU. So I did that little water crossing just behind me here, and as I pulled up I could hear like a crunching sound, and turns out this is what's happened. Not too sure if you can see that, but I've let me bottom bash plate back. Not much I can do here, but just leave it and then let it bend backwards.
Now, as we see this 80 series come down into frame, just keep note of it, just in the back of your head. Something may or may not happen to it.
Not too sure how well this GoPro is going to pick up A, my voice, but B, the scenery that's around me. But the area that we're just crossing now is a salt pan, so if you really wanted to, you could collect some salt and use it for seasoning, but we don't need salt because we've got plenty of it, so we're just going to keep on driving through. Alrighty guys, so got up, as I said earlier, got up at Sparrow o'clock this morning, at about 5 o'clock, packed up camp and wanted to get out of the Big Red Bash pretty early, just to get out to the crossing and get into it. So far, so good. I did have a clean streak. Hold on, give me a second. Zebra 4 over. I did have a clear route, or not route I should say, I had a clear run and not having to go up a dune and then reverse and take a second go. I had a really clean run, and then yeah, as it happens, you go for your first take on one of these big dunes, and then you just get up and then you just lose your momentum and your revs and you just bog down. So whack and reverse, get down, and then select another gear or low range and just send it. So so far so good. The scenery here in the desert, actually really surprised.
We're heading west, just about to reach the crest.
It changes from area to area. So some parts you go through like really.
Gear number 261.
Well, you'll go through like sort of some scenic areas where there's a lot of trees, or there's hardly anything on the road. It's not like how they depict in like movies and stuff like that, where it's just absolutely nothing. At least there is something here. And just coming over a dune now, can't see shit. Ugh, almost went to a bush. You've probably been hearing these zebra calls. So Zebra 1 is my dad in the white Hilux. Zebra 2 is Eric in the black Amarok. Zebra 3 is Tyron, who's behind me at the moment in the white Amarok, and I'm Zebra 4. So it just sort of helps us.
1 more hour, then drinks break.
Give us like a bit of a call signs, a bit more. What's the word? Not maybe presence on the radio. I've used it a couple of times whilst we've been out here, because you do have to run one of your CBs or a CB on channel 10, which is the channel that you use over in the Simpson Desert, and that channel is used for vehicles to communicate with one another when we are going over really big dunes. So as I've been sort of doing this piece, you probably heard on the radios party of 4, which means 4 vehicles, and then we say traveling westbound, so people know that we're traveling west. And if there happens to be another party on the other side of the dune that's traveling east, hopefully they should hear us, so there's no head-on collision on the crest of the dune. And that's another reason why we have to roll with these long ass sand flags. Those sand flags just help us, or just put a little visual reference point above the vehicle, so if 2 vehicles are coming over a dune, you can at least see like a white bobbing red or orange flag. It's just a safety thing. You don't really want to be having a head-on collision all the way out here in the desert, because the recovery vehicle, which is a ex-Russian ex-Russian missile launcher, which is just a big truck with a flatbed on it. That's the only vehicle.
Having a party.
That is the only vehicle that can come out here and rescue you if you have a serious mechanical fault. We're going to press on now. Our aim today is to get to Poeppel Corner, which is the corner of Queensland, South Australia and Northern Territory. That's our aim at the moment. It's 3 o'clock now. We want to try and get there by 4 o'clock, and we'll find a campsite, roll out the swags, and have a party with some beers. So and I've just seen in the distance a much bigger salt pan.
could walk for days, searching for your place. But is it even there to find? Is there a chance for me to learn your memories? Will I slowly lose my mind?
So you probably saw it on the drone footage. So when it rains out here, or if they receive a massive amount of flood water, this entire area floods out, and you can tell by the sort of terrain that when it does get wet, it gets super boggy and quite dangerous if you haven't got the right recovery equipment. So thankfully we're coming out here while it's dry, so we don't have to do any gnarly winches or you know, recovery operations. But it's actually quite cool to be in the middle of a salt pan. So yeah, just about to navigate some big whoops and get this photo out in the middle, and she'll be right. So as you heard over the radio, what we're doing is we're actually picking up speed. I can't see shit. We are picking up speed to try and get over these corrugations because they are quite bad. And the idea is if we go faster, the corrugations aren't so bad. So yeah, you try and tackle it with some speed. But the only problem with gaining speed is it produces a lot of dust. So you sort of have to space out the convoy a little bit. And me being at the tail, I unfortunately get all the dust. So I'll have to sit back a little bit further than what I would like to do. But it is what it is.
Are you running the tour guide or am I running the tour guide? What's going on? Apparently I've been cut off the job. Over there you can see the salt pan. Just over here we got the pillar showing the South Australian and Queensland border. We thank the native relatives of this land for letting us come, and let's have fun.
Alrighty, forgot me little stick thing, so camera's a little bit, how's you doing? Anyway, made it to Poeppel Corner, the corner of Queensland, Northern Territory and South Australia. And the flies are shit. There's so many, it's fucked. I need to get my net. Anywho, you can't see me because I'm, there we go. Anywho,
as I was saying.
That's what I was saying, because there's so many fucking flies. Anyway, here's a little marker right here. This is the fucking modern one. And then the original OG timber one with old mate and the chains, just behind me there. Then someone realised that he messed up, and then they put this one here.
Come and fucking scribble in name on it. Well, it's the same as the picture over there. Somebody's got it.
Scribble a guy's face.
Yeah.
People have no respect, though.
Alrighty, so we've made it to Poeppel Corner, just selected a campsite, and you name it, Eric's already digging the fire pit. There's always one chief arsonist in the group.
And that's a wrap on episode 3, guys. If you haven't checked out the previous episode, make sure you check it out by clicking that video below. And as always, make sure you hit that subscribe button.